the intensity, volume, and density is kind of like accumulated over time, and it's in a total amount sometimes.
Right.
Whereas now we're going back to frequency, intensity, and duration. We're talking about like milo in the calf,
Right.
in linear trajectories.
Mm-hmm.
Which we know if you go in a linear trajectory when you're working out, if you keep adding and adding and adding, you're going to get hurt and you come down here like this.
Exactly.
Mastery, okay? Pick a weight. It's pretty streamlined.
Yeah.
You use it so much that it becomes incredibly light, and then you jump up significantly, keep going like this.
Yeah,
like
that's the step loading principle, right?
It is, and then you have varying like this.
Right.
Right. So I'm a big believer in step, because your connective tissue is going to adapt to that, and therefore you're going to be more capable of sustaining a heavier weight in the future rapidly.
Yeah.
So if it's thrown at you,
Yeah, and the thing that I see, John, too, with training on that is, when you maintain that same, weight, like the same intensity on it, like first off, like if you pick a weight, I've been working a lot more with like sub-maximal loads in training than like really trying to push it. And I mean, you can kind of train nearly every day. Your body feels a lot better on it. It's actually kind of when you can practice the movement as well, like you're actually getting into a state where you're focusing on getting better at the particular movement. It's actually really joyful at the same time as well. And I think that's something that we sometimes miss in training. Like, yeah, you need to push your body, like you need to put it under strain and under load, and you need to, test it. But you need to enjoy the process of it too. So not every day needs to be progressive overload. It's like that milo in the calf. It's like, I'm guessing he probably got to that day when the cow was a little bit too heavy where you couldn't get it in, and you're either straining and you're tearing a bicep while you're, lifting it up. Like, it's not the only way, to do it. That's why I love, the principles of the work that we do with Strongfirst, is because I only knew progressive overload beforehand. You want to get stronger, you need to increase the weight and keep the volume up there. And no, it's not the only way to do it. Actually, you build the skill of it. And I think, like, kind of going back to our, like what we were talking about a little while ago, is where people miss that, is I still don't think a lot of people understand like that, strength and nutrition, even, like, it's all a skill that you can develop. It's like you can, just like a sport. And if you kind of learn that at the beginning, and you can understand like, oh, I'm getting better at this skill, not I increased my weight, or I dropped my, the scale went down this week. Like, those aren't the only biomarkers of it. Like, it's a different pathway. And I think it's a better way to kind of talk to people about goal setting and about actually getting into programs like this. Big time.
I couldn't agree more. It's like, people come in to my studio and they want the total package. They want a strength program, they want a cardiovascular program, they want a diet program. I've noticed that if you just throw those three elements at people immediately, I mean, this has taken me 20 years to figure out. It's failure.
It's too much at one time, right?
It is. I mean, and a lot of the people that are coming into my studio are like serious business professionals, parents, they're busy. So throwing three new elements into their life just doesn't necessarily make sense. I start with strength, and then we'll get into the diet a little bit, and then we'll start adding cardiovascular as they discover that you actually have time to do these things, right?
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of training is, we're accountability buddies for people.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, they need us in their life to have this dedicated time to do something other than their everyday routine.
Yeah. It's that check-in time, it's that building the discipline up and the consistency of it. That was something this took me a long time to learn too, because I got so deep into the intuitive side of training, which I think is a path of mastery that you need to go down. But for most people, I think still you need to just get the consistency in there, just kind of get the proper movements in, kind of keep it as simple as possible. Of just getting down. And it's funny, I'd be curious, with your training now, that you said as you're aging, kind of things change, body changes from when you're early on. Like, has your programming gotten simpler as it's gone on? Kind of going into this next competition, have you changed a lot since what you did in the past?
I was actually going to send you a picture earlier today. That actually, you were talking earlier about how in Times New Roman, everything just looks perfect. My notebook for working out, as I do document everything I do, is scribbles and X's And it's just there's no pattern to it.